Morning, and wow, what a good morning it is. We are so thrilled to be coming to you a little bit early today, and you probably know why, but we'll get more into that in a second. But first, my name is Doobie Mosley. I'm the co-founder here at Laughing Place. Over there is our very busy this morning managing editor, Kyle.
Still working, catching my own mistakes. Always fun.
That's all right.
Did you know that you have to set a featured image? That's the thing.
I just did that for Jeremiah's post. I did it behind the scenes.
I just set it for Jeremiah's post too, so I probably just overrode your thing.
That's fine. Although I like the one I chose of his, so I'm curious.
Was it the one with the holding the visualization?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So this is not the morning we waste in time with Priddle Prattle and Titty Tatty. We're actually going to jump right into things today. We'll get to all our normal show, the stock and the stuff. We're going to do that later. Right now, we're going to talk Disney Treasure. We all just got through watching Disney reveal the Disney Treasure live on the Disney Parks YouTube. So exciting. All the new stuff that's coming, all the stuff that's not new that's coming. It's fun to see what they decided to change and what they decided not to. Hopefully you guys got to see that too, and you're ready to discuss it with us as well. So we have a couple of people that are going to be joining us today, one of which is down there already. Thank you, Heather. One of which has no excuse for not being down there already. Jeremiah, where the heck are you? Jeremiah actually got to go on the ship a little bit ago. And
not
the ship. Go on the Disney Wish a little bit ago and get a tour of the treasure via the Wish, which is kind of cool. And so we're excited to have him talk about that. And he's able finally to talk about it publicly this morning. And also with us this morning, we have Heather from Mouse Fan Travel. She is my personal travel agent, and also one of the many travel agents over at our preferred recommended travel Disney travel agency, Mouse Fan Travel, also known as MEI Travel, for any cruise or vacation needs. Rich Ostry, thank you for joining us from MEI Travel, as you often do. Always love to have you here. Hello to Gio. Hello to Nikki B. Let us go. Jeremiah,
can I ask you an inside baseball question on the air? While we do work, should I tweet Jeremiah's thing separately or thread it to the rest?
You know, I am not the biggest fan of threading in general, so I'm going to...
Okay, I will tweet it separately. That was what I was leaning towards.
They need to do some thread investigation, because I feel like it is not good. But this is not the place to have this discussion. You can always tell the difference when Doobie comes to talk cruises. There is nothing more exciting than cruise talk. All right, let's get into this. Let's bring on two people. First, we have Jeremiah Good. He is our East Coast correspondent here at Laughing Place. He is our cowboy for the day, and he is the gentleman who was on the Disney Wish to learn about the Disney Treasure. And we also have with us Heather Colson from Mouse Fan Travel. Did I pronounce your last name right?
You did, absolutely.
Okay.
You never get my name right, though, do you?
Yeah, well, that's because your name is bad, Jeremiah. Heather Colson from Mouse Fan Travel. All right, let's start with Heather here. I don't know what you knew, if you knew anything prior to what you just saw a half hour ago. So as all of this was happening in front of your eyes, what was going through your mind?
I took notes because I knew we were going to talk about it. The first thing I thought was how like the Wish it was. And we all knew that it's a sister ship, so it's not shocking. But if you've been on the Wish, everything's almost identical with just a different theme, which is kind of cool. But my favorite part was the adults only area, where the bars, they're all themed after like old school Disney adventures. So the Jungle Cruise, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, of course. And it's fun to have that theme park sense in here, and to get way off on a tangent already, but they sent out a treasure map that a lot of people got to see that gave clues to what was coming on the Disney Treasure. And another theme park thing was on that map, the Haunted Mansion, which was not revealed today, but it was obvious they did not reveal everything today.
I'm hopeful something is coming from Haunted Mansion, because that would be amazing.
Yeah, sure. I really thought you were a cowboy, Jeremiah.
I'm a haunted cowboy, y'all.
So Heather, as someone who I'm sure has put many guests of your guests on Disney cruise ships and on the Disney Wish, is there anything? What do you think of this ship is really going to appeal to, the Wish? A lot of people love the Wish, but there's a lot of apprehension because it is so different from the first four. Do you think they've done some things here that are going to relieve that apprehension, or do you think they've really gone all in on those changes?
I think they've gone all in on the changes, and I'm here for them. I know as Disney people, we get stuck with what we're familiar with, and I was one of those people that was, I don't know about the Wish, and then I got to go on the Wish, and after about a day, I was familiar with the layout. I figured it out, and I think they've gone all in on this. You know, they have the Aqua Mouse, but it's got a new movie. It's basically all the exact same spaces, just with a different theme geared more towards adventure. And I kind of like that because it's going to appeal to a broader audience. I love the Wish. I am a girly girl, you know, all the blues and the sparkles. That speaks to me, but it doesn't speak to everybody. And so I think that this is going to be a much more mass appeal than the Wish, for sure.
Sorry. Jeremiah, again, lucky enough to actually go on the Wish, hear from Imagineers, kind of see. We put this great picture. Kyle, if you could send me a direct link to that picture, I'd appreciate it. Of Jeremiah and his tours. What were your feelings seeing the Wish and hearing about the changes, and what really struck you?
So Heather, I have to say one thing. How you were talking about it's the sister ship. As your boss actually said, it is the twin sister ship because it is the exact same.
Identical.
When we had a Q&A after we watched the video. So, and this is the photo of me in the Grand Hall of the Wish. And one of the things I joked about when this was all being talked about or going out to the Wish to see it was they were just going to put VR goggles on us and walk around. They did. When we were in the Grand Hall and in the Periscope Pub, they said, here, put on VR goggles and see what it looks like. So what I'm holding is the iPad that has the overlay, or the palace at sea, as they're calling it. There we go. Aladdin and Jasmine. So it's felt more like Agrabah, like one of those type palaces. The Wish, to me, still, I'm still in the, I think, minority now that it's not my favorite ship, but the stuff that they were showing us, I will easily go on there anytime that I possibly can, especially the Periscope Pub. They are really driving home the theme of adventure, including the attractions like the Jungle Cruise, the Skipper's Society, and then, of course, the Periscope Pub. And then the tower suite, or the funnel suite, you know, all these things that we can go on talking about for hours. And it's, the way I look at it is, I was never a cruise person until my first cruise, and then I became addicted. There are theme park people who will never go on a cruise, but you say 20,000 Leagues, Jungle Cruise, Epcot feel, funnel suite, that's the automatic way to get theme park people on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I agree with you. It kind of appeals to that old school Disney fan, the people who, I'm not into the princesses or Marvel or whatever it may be. This is going to get those OG Disney fans on this ship for sure.
So what I thought we'd do today is just kind of go through the ship, both what's different and what's the same. We actually have a really, really, really detailed article on our site. Thank you, Mike Mack, for working hard on that. Which I will put in the chat in just a moment. And it kind of goes through everything we've learned about this ship, where it makes sense. We've compared it to the Disney Wish and shown pictures of what's based on the Disney Wish and what it will look like from the concept art on the Treasure. And then some interesting things that haven't changed. Before we get to there, we should really get some basics. The inaugural sailing for the Disney Wish is when, Heather?
December 2024.
Which, as we learned in the press release, is actually December 21st.
Okay, so they did give it.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Exactly.
And one of the things, Heather, this is something I was just having a conversation with your boss, Becky, about. They announced to us that the on-sale date was going to be September 13th. But that information does not seem to have been released anywhere as of yet, except the press release and the announcement that we got. So that, of course, could change because the video was pushed back a week due to the hurricane. Sorry, I sat through the rain.
So Heather, if you were wondering when you have to start taking,
Yeah, exactly.
Because a hurricane didn't impact you doesn't mean a
For
hurricane
giving me the
didn't
heads
happen.
up, because Disney doesn't give us the heads up. They just say, by the way, tomorrow
Yeah,
you're
and
going
that
to be
was
really busy.
we were in the Neverland or in the Wonderland Theater, and we watched the short, and then they would just kind of throw stuff at us, and we're all like, "Wait, did they just say?" And we're all looking at each other. Did they just say this? But yes, September 13th was announced for the on sale date. That would probably be the Pearl level Castaway Club, but again, this information was 2 weeks ago, so it could have changed by now, especially with the video being delayed a day. So stay tuned to us.
And when you do find out and want to book, obviously we highly recommend Mouse Fan Travel. You can request Heather if you like what you hear here. You can request Rich if you like the fact that he always supports us, or you can just let them give you someone, and I'm sure they will be.
We're all pretty fantastic. So
you
whoever
can
you
request
with.
Phaedra also if you ever just want to support my sister.
Oh, TIL. All right, so let's go through the ship. Here's the ship itself. What happened to my ship? Sorry.
Ship.
Screen share. Oh no, Jeremiah.
Sorry.
No.
You're on with the dad jokes today.
No, not my dad. Okay, so there's the treasure itself, if you can see. Looks a whole lot like the wish from the outside. Not a major change there. But the Grand Hall, not an atrium, is with the adventure theme. You can see it there. The Cinderella for this ship are Aladdin and Jasmine.
And the magic carpet. There are three characters.
And the carpet. Very, very good point. No little tiny mice in back like there are on the Wish, Jeremiah?
No. And one of the things we also learned is there isn't a pedestal or something holding up the magic carpet. There is greenery that is going to be in throughout the Grand Hall, which everybody said that added a little bit of life to it just through the VR goggle, but it is going to be magically floating.
And which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it will have a cool chandelier like the Wish does that comes alive with all its magic. So that won't be lost, even though the theme has gone from fantasy to adventure. Apparently there is magic in Adventureland as well. So that is exciting. What do you think of Aladdin Jasmine, Heather?
I mean, I'm a fan. I grew up, I was a child of the 90s, so Aladdin is what I grew up on. So I love it. I love it. I do like the greenery though. Like you said, Jeremiah, it kind of brings the atrium to life. I think that's really cool.
One of the other cool things, Doobie, if you could go to the shot looking down. And also breaking news. Did you just see what Benji had put up?
No, go ahead.
I'll talk about this. Doobie will take care of that. The carpet is designed to look like a grand fountain. So when you look at it, it's the fountain coming out, the water's pouring out, and then around it would be the standard tile work in that type of fountain. And you'll see Abu, the genie as the elephant. And it really, the dark colors, for me, I was concerned when I started looking at it, but it really does make the whole thing feel a little bit more intimate. And they have on both sides of the stage, in the concept art, fountains. When I asked if water was actually going to be part of it, they said, that could be a little bit difficult. We're still working on that. But they also are adding more couches and seating area to that, because that was something that definitely a lot of feedback on the Wish, that there wasn't a lot of space to sit in the Grand Hall just to enjoy other than laying on the carpet for some people. And the coolest thing, go on.
We have actual dates for when bookings go by level. So let's go ahead and get that ready now. This is breaking news, but we're far too serious today to play the silly breaking news music. Plus, it takes me too long to find it. Rebecca, if you have that, can you put it up? There we go. So for Pearl, which are the people that have done 50 or more cruises, I don't like you guys until I want you guys.
Nope.
25 or more cruises. Thank you. Sorry. And I still don't like you guys until I want you guys. Halfway there. September 12th. That is 1 week from today. Mouse Fan Travel. And then Platinum, which is 10 or more cruises, September 13th. Gold, September 14th. That's 5 or more. Silver, September 19th, if you've been before, and General, September 20th. So there you go with a maiden voyage of December 21st. The maiden voyage is a Christmas voyage. How awesome is that? So presumably the treasure will debut with its Christmas decor before we see it go back to its everyday decor. Really interesting.
It's called the Castaway Club, right?
Yes.
I'm just asking editorial questions on the air because I'm working.
This is a newsroom today. Yeah, feel free. Yes, Jeremiah?
I think that we will probably see the treasure, and this is purely speculation. We could see it as early October. If, learning from the challenges that they had on the Wish, where the delays and everything, I am guessing that the reason that it is the last day of cruising, which we haven't said that it is 7-night cruises. That is all of theirs. Having it on the last possible date fulfills the coming in 2024. But I think for a lot of the, just to be safe, I would say early October is when we'll probably start to see the ship come for the cast member cruises, the media cruises, the preview cruises, as early as that, just for safety reasons for them, because they don't want to have to repeat the Wish.
Yeah, they don't want to have to go through. They lost a lot of money on that one. So would like
the Wish was late from its original scheduled date, and then once it even got rescheduled, it definitely by most accounts was not truly done by maiden voyage. It took a couple months.
I was on the last preview cruise before they let the general public go, and they were still trying to figure out the elevator buttons. Like, I'm trying to get off the ship, and they're like, "Hold on, we can't go in here yet." Like, everything just was not working.
Which I will say, I know that it's been noted, I hadn't been on the ship since just before the maiden, so I hadn't seen that they finally replaced the touchscreen buttons to real buttons. So as soon as I walked in the elevator, I was so excited I could lean against the wall without touching them.
The touchscreen buttons, in theory, were amazing, and I loved them, but they went through, I was on a 3-night cruise, 3 iterations of how to get them so people didn't just like the elf situation where all the buttons lit up. Oh, wow.
So as everyone by now knows, Disney, unlike most cruise line, has rotational dining where you have 3 different restaurants and your servers travel with you from night to night. So rotational dining on the Disney Treasure is different from the Wish, but not that different. We still got 1923, but with a bit of a different spin on it, Jeremiah?
Yes, they talked about, again, this is all I forget how many days, 800 and some odd days away from the maiden sailing. So everything can change, but one of the things they drove home was 1923, which is designed on the Wish to celebrate the princesses and the fantasy storytelling, is going to be focused more on the adventure storytelling. So we will see stuff like Swiss Family Robinson and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and more of that as the overarching theme of the restaurant. But when we asked any more details, their answer was more to come.
And
Disney fashion.
Worlds of Marvel will return as well, which is the popular high-tech show on the Disney Wish. Now, it will have, these are 7-day sailing, so everyone will eat there at least twice. It will have 2 different shows, is what they announced.
Yeah. The original show from the Wish will be there. And when we asked about the second show, there was a lot of silence. They said, we're still working on it. One of the things that this is the time where you need that box, Doobie, so you can just hold up on the box that they sent out for the teaser. One of the things that they had was Queens with the Spider-Man web behind it. Again, this is me theorizing, and if I had to guess what the second show may be more focused on, it may be the webhead, Spidey himself having more of a major part instead of just the kind of the fill-in if something happens to Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Hi, Lunda. Thank you for joining us. We are discussing the Disney Treasure here. So on the Wish, they had the show restaurant is Arendale's, themed to Frozen, and TIL Coco is really, really, really popular. The social media on that was so much more than almost everything else that was announced, both on our page and just looking around the internet in general. Coco will be the show restaurant at on the Disney Treasure. Are you happy with this one, Heather?
I'm so happy. I mean, I'm Southern California based, so Coco's a huge thing here in Disneyland. They, all year long we have something with Coco going on. I like Frozen just as much as everyone, and I liked that restaurant more than I thought I would on the Wish. The food was fantastic, the entertainment was great, but I think the songs of Coco are just more upbeat, more exciting. Everybody's going to be getting up dancing, singing along. Like, I think it's just going to feel like more of a party versus Elsa singing at you.
Well, it's going to feel like a party until the second night, where it's going to be awkward. I'm just calling this out right now.
Other realm.
Oh yeah, go on, Doobie. You were going to.
I was just to say, because Arendelle, one of the things it was known for was having an Olaf animatronic, a really cool animatronic they pushed around the restaurant. It's kind of the first time they've had a roving animatronic. Any word from them on if there will be something similar for Coco?
There will not be any type of marionettes, puppets, anything. That was the question that I asked right away because, Olaf was amazing, but there were times where he had difficulty. He would be defrosting. So for this, it will just be Miguel and the family. They will travel around the restaurant, visiting tables. The first night is going to be more of the story. It's the continuation of Disney Pixar film Coco, where it's them in the Plaza de Coco is what the restaurant's called. It's them celebrating, and the music will be back in the video. The Unlocking the Treasures, you could see the mariachi band, which is the first time a mariachi band will be on a Disney cruise line. And that's something they were very proud and happy to announce, which I felt was very strange. But I'm all for a mariachi band on there.
Can I just interrupt you, Jeremiah?
Yeah.
I think this is a play to get people from the West Coast out to their ships, because they don't really travel to Florida, but they will go down to San Diego. And so I think it's been missing. There has been no Mexican restaurants, no Mexican menus aboard a Disney ship. And I think that this is a really big play to get Southern Californians out to the East Coast. Because if you are ever in the area, I can tell you a billion times I see every day on TV a Disney World, a Disney Cruise Line advertisement, because they're really trying to get all of us over to the East Coast.
No, the Mexican food that they added on the Wish up in the Mickey and Friends area, I would go by there every day just to grab, and that was very basic Mexican food. Mm-hmm. This is traditional Mexican food with a flair, which is always, I love how they're like, we're not going to have the spicy, but we'll talk about we have a flair of it.
We'll just have the hot sauce on the side for you.
I love that they're doing, because I love Mexican food, and the fact that they're actually going to have that on a ship now is really exciting. We are lucky enough to have someone on the Disney Wish right this very moment who actually got to see this reveal on the Wish. So I am going to actually take Kyle out, because I know Kyle's got a ton of work to do anyway, and bring on our CEO, our boss, the Big Cheese, Ben Breitbart, to tell us what it was like to watch this reveal on the Wish with a DVC crew. So these are not just your average Disney fans. These are the fanniest fans of all.
Wow. It started, and then it played for about 20 seconds, and then it stopped.
Hey, that happened to us too.
And then we waited about 5 minutes, and then it played. And then, they seemed. And then so they played it again, and it ran for about 20 seconds, and then it stopped. And then the cruise director came out and kind of said, "Hey, it's also on your in-room on-demand TV." So the crowd had kind of dissipated significantly by the time I got there. But I also thought it was interesting. They came out, this cruise director and assistant cruise director came out before it was originally supposed to start. And they're like, "What do you think it's going to be?" And, some people obviously knew what it was going to be because they kind of got it. And then they were like, okay, well, just so you know, it's physically exactly the same. So on deck 4, you're going to have the running obstacle course with staircases because it's physically the same. And I was like, huh, that's surprisingly upfront.
Yeah, that was one
so
of.
yeah, it was a little disappointing because by a lot of people it was enough. So.
Cool. Well, I am sad because I really wanted to see the reaction of guests from there, but tech happens. So, anything in general you want to say about the treasure? You don't have to.
Yeah.
So we'll let you speak and we'll move on. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think you got it.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. Unfortunately, we didn't get what we wanted from you, but now you're gone.
Yeah.
I love live stuff.
When we were doing the Q&A, it was it was Disney media, so we know how to play the game when we ask questions of, so is this going to be different than this? And then it just turned into the point of like, okay, is the running track going to be a complete running track like it is on the other ships, or is it the exact same as it is on the Wish? And they said exact same. And then they drove home again that it was just the sister ship, same bones, different arteries.
So let's stay on the food realm for now. Disney Wish has 2 upscale restaurants, Palo Steakhouse and Enchanté. Those will both be remaining, and at least from the concept art, I think the concept art they released for that was basically images from the Wish. So presumably not very changed, which is not a bad thing. Enchanté is great. Did you have a chance to enjoy Enchanté, Heather?
I think it's my favorite Disney Cruise Line restaurant. It was fantastic. And it's beautiful. Beautiful, great food. I'm here for it. I think that it's a little off-putting. People can be a little scared. They think they don't like fine French food, but once you get them in there, it's excellent.
Agreed. We went there for brunch, and we're not fine. We like good food, but we're not that foo-foo. And it was spectacular. And the setting for it, especially in the daytime, this is what it looks like in the daytime.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. And also the Rose, the adult lounge, that kind of your waiting place or your hangout place near Apollo and Enchanté will be returning as well. But when you want dessert after Marceline Market will remain as well as the buffet location. They're not changing the name or seemingly the theme of that. But right outside Marceline Market was Inside Out Joyful Sweets on the Disney Wish, which was themed, of course, to Inside Out, and that's the place to get some ice cream and other sweets. You have to pay for those. It's not included, but it's just a fun, yummy place to visit. Free samples. That's my number one tip. Free samples. Enjoy the samples. They are retheming that here to Zootopia, right, Jeremiah?
Jumbo Sweets, yes. I love when this popped up in the video, we all got very excited. Zootopia alone always makes me happy, but just the brightness of this location, having the large Judy Hopps and Nick will be great for the photos. I understand there's 20 different flavors of gelato on this one. I don't know if it's the same as the other ones, Doobie. I'm sure you put on 20 different shirts and walk in and ask for samples. But yeah, it's a fun area. Bringing Zootopia on also, again, brings on the adventure theme, because Zootopia is definitely more the adventure-based film. So that'll be a fun addition.
Rebecca points out Enchanté, much more enjoyable than expected. She was my dining companion. You can lift up if you want to see yourself, Heather. I was worried it would be too stuffy.
Welcome to my spot, Heather. That's usually me.
Hospitality was incredible and put me at ease for such a different dining experience. And that is one of the cool things about going on a cruise, both in the main dining rooms where they have foods you've never had before. It's risk-free trying the food because you can always get something else. But also the upscale dining, it's not like, people are paying $1 million to go to Victoria and Albert. A lot of people just want to try something different on the cruise. You will feel much more at ease there than you might have on land. It is a very comfortable place to try something like that.
Oh, Doobie, one more thing about Plaza de Coco. If you watch the video, and hopefully everybody by now has watched the video because it's been out for almost an hour, when Arthur Curry is in there watching. Like when I watched it on the ship, it definitely tugged at my heartstrings because it talks about the family. And then afterwards, when we talked about the music and the family and how it's all going to interconnect, they flat out said, "Oh yeah, you'll be crying in your soup at one point." So
bring tissues.
yes.
So I think that covers dining. Moving on to public spaces. So kind of the major place for fun, for entertainment in the center of the ship is Luna on the Disney Wish. They use it for some of the bigger trivia games. They'll have musicians there. It's definitely the adult place at night where you'll see the Match Your Mates and all that kind of stuff. And on the Disney Treasure, it is called Sarabi. And what is our theme there, Jeremiah?
It is Lion King. Sarabi is Mufasa's mate. So this area will be much more the earth tones, natural colors. Just, it looked beautiful. I sadly didn't get to spend a lot of time in Luna on the Wish yet, so I'm very much looking forward to experiencing this. It is the same, the 2-level open air. The fun thing about being on the Wish, as I said, was they walked us to the location and would talk about what this is going to be because, again, same ship. And we were standing outside of Luna and they're talking about how beautiful Sarabi is going to be. And it's the meeting area for everybody. It's going to be the go-to for all the fun, the silent DJs, trivia, anything and everything that they can have fun doing with the family, it'll be in this area.
Now, something that concerned me on the Wish and turned out not to be as big a concern as I thought, so I'm curious if Heather has any feedback from her guests, is this adult area on the Wish, Luna, and now Sarabi, which is essentially unchanged. The upper deck is open. There's no doors to close. You can walk by and you hear everything. Like Match Your Mate is going on. It's clearly within Disney's parameters, but it's an adult area in the midst of an open area where everyone is free to walk by. And did you get any feedback from your guests that they did not like the fact that adult stuff was taking place in an open area like that?
No, believe it or not, I didn't have anything. The only feedback I had about Luna, and it came from quite a few people, is that it's small in terms of if they want to go dance. There is no space on the Wish for dancing. There's no nightclub. And so they used Luna to do things like silent disco or kind of act like that dance space for adults after dark. And it's tiny because the dance floor is so small, and then they're pushing the seats out to the side. You can't move in there. And that was the one feedback that quite a few people gave to me about that space.
And that was one of the things that we also, some people asked about, because again, we live in the Disney bubble that we're 24/7 thinking of things that can go wrong and what is bad. Like that was one of the questions that was asked, and they said that it has never been, probably ever been addressed above maybe one or two people. So again, I think we think of, wait, this is going to be horrible. Most of the time when the adult stuff is going on is later at the night. And one of the things that they pointed out is most kids are going to be in the Oceaneers Club and not care about being up on the second floor to hear Match Your Mate or that type of stuff.
All right, so the Hero Zone, which is the thankfully indoor, this may be my favorite new thing on the Wish, if they move the athletic area indoors, will remain on the Treasure, of course, including the obstacle course, the Neverland and Wonder. Heather, did you do the obstacle course?
No, I'm smart enough to watch from the upper level and just watch all the people doing it. But I think is my favorite thing. I love it. It is so cool.
My wife did it. I didn't do it last time. Next time I get on the Treasure. The Neverland and Wonderland cinemas, the way they've switched the Buena Vista to be two separate, smaller theaters, are there. One complaint I did hear about on the cinemas was it's very uncomfortable. Jeremiah, you said on the Wish you went and sat in one of these during this tour.
Oh, no.
This is kind of how I sat. We sat in there for about an hour and a half watching the video and having a Q&A and everything. And I had heard that the seats were uncomfortable. It is like when you would go to the movies before AMC and everything, and people would just plop down and break the seats, and they'd be leaned forward. At one point, I was just kind of watching, and then I did end up with my head against the seat in front of me. That's something small. I don't know if it's happening or if it's going to carry over. I'm sure that they will address it if need be. But yeah, those seats lean too far forward. Definitely not something you'll fall asleep watching any movies in.
Okay, so let's get to some more changes now. Staying in the public areas, the Bayou, which turned out to be one of my favorite places on the Wish. When they switched things that much, they put kind of one of the prime meeting spaces just in the midst of the ship, in the middle of the ship, without all the. There's no doors. People are just walking by. You wonder how was that going to work out? And it turned out I loved it. I love the accessibility, the openness of the Bayou. So I'm very happy that they are keeping that on the Dream, but with a different theme. And Jeremiah, what are they doing with the Bayou?
Skipper Society, as described to us, high-end former skippers will be the servers, which I don't understand what that means at all. But it's themed after Jungle Cruise. It is not themed after Trader Sam's. It is not themed after a tiki bar. It is where the skippers would... You want to have some fun, if you can get my story from Instagram that I posted on my own Instagram, you will enjoy that one. So it is themed after that, after the Jungle Cruise. There's some beautiful canvases they put above that'll make the area feel more intimate. I'm guessing the next photo is going to be that. That's the bar itself. One of the things, again, with this, yeah, there we go. So you have the canvas with what looks like the greenery coming down, so you're in the jungle. It is the exact same space as the Bayou, just reconfigured. There'll be a stage there for, as they said, music and comedy from the skippers. And then, go ahead.
Well, two things that concerned me. One, presumably, is there a C relationship here? Society of Adventurers and Explorers?
I hope so. There better be.
So we flat out asked about that. And they didn't say no, but they sure as heck didn't say yes. I was sitting next to Lou, who I think can tell you every single member of the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. And his response was kind of like, oh, okay, so as far as we know, there is no sea ties, but with Periscope Pub and the Skipper Society, at least there's going to be lots of Easter eggs. And this waffle.
That was my next question, because I love the beignets.
The waffle was in everything.
Yeah, exactly. They talked nothing about the food or the drink, because again, 800 plus days until the sailing. But this waffle and the weird, we're going to open up a box and smoke's going to come out for this drink, which I'm sure will be great. And I'm sure Becky will buy it so she can have her own boat or something. But that waffle was the only reference to food that we got. And we just kept going, okay, the waffle had better be something. And they did refer to the waffle as great.
Well, the food in the Bayou on the Wish was not that great. It was supposed to be, all the beignets and all that. And then I was cruising with one of our agents who happens to be from Louisiana. And so she ordered it because she had to. And she took one bite and she went, "That's not a beignet," and pushed it to the side. And I was like,
wow,
sorry. So hopefully the menu will be a little bit better.
I feel like she would have done the same thing at Disneyland, because those beignets aren't beignets either. But
I mean, I had one at Cafe Du Monde. I'm not,
Yeah, me too.
Or anything. Yeah. Okay, so some of the other public spaces like that, Nightingales, which is one of the lounges themed to Cinderella, and Hyperspace Lounge. Is that what it's called? Hyperspace Lounge?
Star Wars,
which
Hyperspace
is
Lounge.
The Star Wars themed lounge that got a lot of hoopla for. See what I did there? Got a lot of hoopla. Neither of those were addressed at all, right, Jeremiah?
Correct. So there was no talk, and as often as we tried to get them to spill anything about the Haunted Mansion theme, nothing was talked about. The Hyperspace Lounge, when they showed the kids club, was the cargo bay is returning to Hyperspace Lounge, or to the Kids Club, which is Oceaneers Club is the exact same as the Wish, with the exception of when you slide down the slide, it will be Jungle Book themed, not Alice in Wonderland themed. And I don't think that's anywhere addressed. That's breaking news you can only get from us right now. But yes, we again tried to play the game beating around the bush about, will there be Hyperspace Lounge? Will there be anything Star Wars? And they flat out said, the cargo bay is the only Star Wars themed location on the Disney Treasure.
And so, Jeremiah, why are people so confident there will be something Haunted Mansion on this ship?
In the lower left-hand corner of the screen, which was on the box, the teaser box that was sent out, there is a Haunted Mansion. I believe it says Graveyard something or other on there. I can't read it that well. So that automatically, we have Moana, we have everything that is kind of addressed throughout the ship, and then Haunted Mansion, which I would rather see them open up Nightingales and turn that into a Haunted Mansion themed lounge, because I think that could be amazing. Put the harpsichord piano in there, have the mood set, have it dark, rather than turning a Hyperspace Lounge, which in the early days had some capacity issues. If they turn that into Haunted Mansion we all know Imagineering will come up with better ideas than what they have now. Sitting in that bar watching ghosts float by, to me, isn't the best thing I want to do, but I'm sure it'll be something cooler if in fact that does go into that location. But Haunted Mansion has a broader appeal than Star Wars, because yes, Hyperspace Lounge we all love, but Haunted Mansion is the attraction that everybody loves. And I'm not wearing this shirt for the heck of it. I would love to see something Haunted Mansion, but for me, I'd rather see it in the Nightingales, or knock out that wall in between Nightingales and Hyperspace Lounge and just turn it into a bigger lounge, not watching a screen, just Haunted Mansion themed.
You mentioned knock out that wall, because obviously that would create some more space. I feel like there's other areas on the Wish where they could create space without really taking away from the guest experience, and that would be those high-end retail stores. Did you learn anything about those?
Yes, when they were talking about Skipper Society, they flat out said, that's the location, right by those high-end shops. So as far as we know, those same high-end shops that take up way too much space. I understand if you're diehard, you want to get a diamond or a very expensive watch, or I believe the other one's up one of the bags. If you really want to do that on a cruise ship while you're there for 7 days, you have the opportunity.
Yes, the maiden voyage again. We are talking Disney Treasure, which will have its maiden voyage on December 21st, 2024, a 7-day trip. It will be doing 7-day Eastern and Western itineraries to begin. One thing we don't know for sure is, will it be going to Castaway Cay? Will it be going to Lighthouse Point? Jeremiah, any indication of where it's going to stop for its private island?
They did not mention that at all. We did get some preview of Lighthouse Point when they talked about it, but it was never addressed as this is going to specifically Lighthouse Point, or that. I believe Lighthouse Point launches next summer. Heather, do you know the dates that Lighthouse Point? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would probably guess with the new, flagship, they'll be stopping at one. I mean, maybe even both, but it'll definitely stop at Lighthouse Point, I feel.
I feel so too. I'm really wondering if it'll do both. Before we get to the Aquamouse, there's one more public space I just wanted to mention, which we touched on earlier, which is the Periscope Pub, which will be replacing Keg and Compass.
We have to talk about this.
So Keg and Compass, which is a
space on board. I'm so excited.
Keg and Compass was a fun place too. I mean, when I took the ship tour, they stopped there for so long and pointed out all the little details. It was great. But it looks like they've upped it even more with Periscope Pub. So before Jeremiah gives us the details, Heather, why are you so excited about this?
Because who's not a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea fan? Even, it's back from the 60s. Who cares? It's classic Disney. And if you're going on a Disney cruise, I'm going to assume that you are a Disney fan in some capacity. And I love that they are bringing back classic Walt Disney movies versus everything just being Marvel, Star Wars, the princesses. I'm here for this. I need there to be some kind of Easter eggs all over. Bonus points if they can put chandeliers in that shake back and forth like animatronic. Like, I want to feel like I am on the Nautilus.
So Jeremiah, what's in this Periscope?
That is something that they're still working on. The background music, something they're still working on. Will there be announcements from the attraction? Something they're still working on. We did get to speak with the lead producer for the ship, and he purposely was in Periscope Pub because of his heart is in that location. Periscope Pub, designed after the 1954 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's the concept art. Okay, I was like, I hadn't seen that photo. And the attraction from 1971 at Magic Kingdom. You are under the sea while you're floating on the sea. Whole questions that we sat there and our heads hurt. The portals that'll be on the side, they are not going to be screens. You will be able to see outside, which exactly, Heather. That was one of those things of okay. As you saw, Arthur is standing underneath the ceiling, which will seem like you're underwater. There will be projections. That is going to be screen, so it looks like you're water. We will probably see stuff float by again every time. And I sat there and asked at least 20,000 questions to him, and he did an excellent job of avoiding all but one, really. As opposed to Kagan Compass, where the outside looks like it's just wood and it carries on with the entire structure. This, you will walk into the Nautilus. It'll be the steampunk feel, the steel. You'll walk in. One of the best things about this, and this is one of the really only true changes that were pointed out to us, is in Kagan Compass, the bar is on the left and takes up a lot of space. In this one, they're pushing it to the front, so it'll open up more of that space. We asked about Easter eggs. We asked about, sounds, anything, and it was a lot of wait and find out. We're not quite sure, but they did say that every time they have a meeting, it triggers some memory of the attraction, and they'd put it down on the list. So I'm guessing that we'll be hearing them looking for Lieutenant Baxter, and we'll hear about hopefully the smoking lamp being out, all the fun throwbacks to the 20,000 Leagues attraction. My main question was, are we going to have a dive sequence? And again, they said, we'll wait and see.
Okay, so another question for you, Heather, as a travel agent. They really, really changed. We're moving to the upper decks now, the pool decks. They really, really changed the pool decks on the Disney Wish. Instead of having, the one or two larger pools, they went with these 5 little poolets that they have around there. And I was really skeptical of this. Turns out I really loved it. Poolets, that's a word. Look it up, Jeremiah. Turns out I liked it. What kind of feedback, if any, did you get from your travelers about the pool layout on the Disney Wish?
People really liked it. And I, like you, I thought that they wouldn't because they're tiny. And what if the ship is full? And it's basically like a glorified hot tub without the heat. But people liked it because you can go and you can relax and you can lounge without having to worry about the kids splashing around, because there's a separate area for that. And it's also, if a movie is showing, there's great views from them because they're elevated. They kind of go up half decks. I think it's a really cool layout.
Yeah, the kind of stadium layout really helps. Another thing, and this is real life here, accidents happen and the whole pool doesn't have to close. Just close one of the poolets and the rest stay open. So this is real. Saw it happen. It matters.
Can I make a joke, Doobie?
It depends, Jeremiah.
Was it a baby Ruth?
Right, moving. So that will remain. the Tyrannosaurus Rex will remain, right, Jeremiah?
Yes. Yeah, they called out that the Toy Story Splash Zone is just being ported right over, which is fun. I forgot how lively that entire area is when you walk by. The only problem, and this will be something that I would love to hear Heather's feedback from the traveler she's had, is it is facing right into what would be a general area, and that is a loud area along with the adult areas that apparently aren't changing either.
Yeah. People are a little annoyed by it, but you're on a cruise, make the best of it. That's my advice. But yeah, it is. It's very loud. Especially Benji's not here, but I was going to say, especially for my guests in the funnel suite, that's not the best view that you want when you open your windows. And there, the splash zone is right there. But
we're going to get to the rooms and the suites in just a moment, but that is, I think, probably one of the tips I would imagine you have is for the people who are like, I want to stay in the funnel suite. You're like, you probably actually want to stay in the Rapunzel suite, right?
The royal suite, the Aurora or the Rapunzel. Oh,
But
I
Heather,
there.
Hold on. As a travel agent, Heather, do you ever actually say, no, you don't want to stay in the most expensive suite. Let's stay in a lesser suite.
My professional advice is the funnel suite is amazing because it is exclusive and you will be the only ones there. However, there is no balcony. And if you want the best bathroom of all time, you would like to go and stay in the Aurora suite. And then you make your own decision.
Typical inside stateroom stayer, I would say either one is fantastic. Our boss did stay in the funnel suite, and it was spectacular. I can see not having a balcony was a deal, but oh my goodness, it was a nice place to stay.
Mm-hmm. It was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
Jeremiah, it looks like your Instagram was found. Let's check it out.
Yeah, that was one that I was expecting, like, oh, the video's starting, but you watch it and I had this awkward, like, oh, okay, now I'll start. The different media events that I've ever gone to, this was such a fun one. We wrapped up in the Hero Zone, and they had a photo op for that. They had a photo op for the ship, and then, of course, they had Arthur Curry there with his map. And that was the photo you showed earlier. So it was, even if I wasn't excited from the video and from everything else, just getting to the tease of Coco, Plaza de Coco, I think is secondary for my most anticipated thing.
So staying with the pools, the Disney Treasure will keep the Aquamouse, the first attraction at sea, which has gotten poo-pooed a lot for calling it an attraction. I think it's an attraction. It is more fun than the Aqueduct because of the story element of it and the fact you don't have to walk up those stairs. So I am a big fan of the Aquamouse. Sorry, Rebecca, to do that, but I had to show this, and then you can take it back. So this shows you just how much fun the Aquamouse is. Why did I bother? I should have known, but this is Jeremiah.
It's just an awkward picture of me. That's great.
Jeremiah on the Aquamouse, and while we not watch this video, Jeremiah, what are they doing to the Aquamouse on the Disney Treasure?
So they announced there is a third version, third cartoon, however you want to call it, Curse of the Golden Egg, which will be Mickey and Minnie exploring an Egyptian pyramid. I think it'll be very, very much like one of the Mickey Mouse shorts that came out recently or in the past few years, carrying that over. The most interesting thing is they are taking that over to the Wish also. So the Wish will have all three, and the Treasure will have all three also. It is a fun attraction. I wish that I could have done it many more times, but there are little Easter eggs you have to catch.
And we did it when we took our Wish cruise. Jeremiah unfortunately had to do the media cruise. He had to work. We just took a pleasure cruise in February, and I think it was either Atlantis Day or Castaway Key Day. We came back early, and we just rode this over and over and over. And there's no line. When there's no line, they don't even make you get off. We just stayed on it and had so much fun riding the
Got some
Aquamouth,
good hair
which is
going there.
a fun attraction. Although we didn't get one of those cool swim shirts, so I'm a little jealous of that, Jeremiah. All right, let's get indoors again and talk about accommodations. We already talked about the Oceaneer Club. It is basically unchanged except for the slide into it. So accommodations. So one of the things I heard on the Wish, and tell me if you got this feedback, Heather, was there was just a lack of storage in the staterooms for clothing. Did you get that from your guests?
No, I actually didn't get that. And I didn't have I mean, I guess if you're doing like a family of 5, I can see that. But if you're going 2, 3, 4, I didn't find that there was a problem. And I haven't heard any clients say it.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to hear that. I watch a lot of vlogs and listen to a lot of podcasts, and I heard that as a consistent thing. But I trust your guests more than I trust these guests. So one of the pieces of feedback, one of the speculations people had was, okay, this is okay. We can make this happen for a 3 or a 4 day cruise, but now we've got a 7-day cruise. We're going to need more clothes. This is something that presumably they'll address for the Treasure. Did you get any hint as to if anything is changing in that realm, Jeremiah?
We got nothing except the colors and the artwork in the room. Like they just kind of gave us the concept art and went, there you go. It's lots of fun. I was in the stateroom with 2 other people, and it was definitely, the drawers are very small. My biggest complaint, and it looked like from the concept art, this is a carryover again, is the TV. As somebody who was staying in the Murphy bed, the TV faces the main bed. So
you can't
if you're over there, yeah, you're just kind of sitting there hearing what people are watching. But the artwork will be changing in there. I think it'll probably be just the exact same rooms again.
So each of the standard staterooms, which is a really fun aspect of the Disney Wish, is they all have a different theme. Not all, but there are different themes. There's Cinderella, Frozen, Tangled, Princess and the Frog. Do you give any indication of what those themes are going to be on the Treasure?
They didn't really say much other than just the adventure aspect will carry in. I'm trying to think of the one piece of concept art, what was on the artwork above the couch, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I know Lion King is definitely part of it. They're leaning a lot into Lion King, it seems, on this.
So the concept art they released has an Aladdin theme. You can see the genie up top there. So that is certainly one of the ones that will be coming. It's an Aladdin theme, and presumably they'll have several, just like they do on the Treasure. But guests of Heather don't stay in standard staterooms. So let's talk about the concierge and the suites. Jeremiah, what do you remember from that?
They didn't talk anything about the concierge, but the suites, the Raja and the Bagheera suite, which I love that they're bringing in Bagheera from Jungle Book. That's one of my favorite cats that they're, bringing over. I think it's interesting that they're just kind of pulling cats as the theme for that. But those are always, as Heather said, the suites on the Wish are the most beautiful rooms. The bathrooms are stunning. The bathtub itself, I want to stay in one.
Do you even leave? I wouldn't even go and enjoy the cruise. I would just sit in that bathtub. It's gorgeous.
And Heather, tell me, so we got to visit the funnel suite, and one of the most awesome things ever I've done on a cruise is they will do Palo in your room on the funnel suite, and it was just spectacular. Do they do that in these suites as well?
As far as I know, they didn't, but that may have changed since it started sailing. I think that was an exclusive thing for the funnel suite.
One more reason to stay in the funnel suite if you have to. If you have to.
I mean, if you're not having a balcony, you have to have something.
And
it was so cool. I mean, if you ever get a chance to do that, sorry, Rebecca, I'm so sorry. You get to put it back. If you get a chance to do that, if you have a friend who's staying there, or if you're staying there, do the Palo in the room. They have the servers. They bring the food and courses. It is just such an experience.
That right there. That's
it. That's where you'll find me.
Yeah.
That is amazing. This is one of the royal suites.
Throw in my professional opinion here. Disney Cruise Line was lacking in their suites for a very long time until they brought the Wish out. They had 2 suites on board. They weren't even that big. They didn't sleep that many people, and it is a home run with these. And I'm so excited they're doing them again on the Treasure.
I love that so much. What's it look like from the other side? Because I like to shower in port.
It looks like you're looking into a shower if you're standing outside floating. I mean, that's...
Does it really? But you're not. But when you're in port, you know. Anyway, so those are the themes for the major suites, except for the big suite, the funnel suite, which on the Wish is simply called the funnel suite. But they are giving it a different name on the Treasure, Jeremiah.
The Tomorrow Tower Suite, inspired by Epcot.
Real
experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Do you have the concept art so you can see?
I do. Sorry, I was waiting.
Dreams, Epcot.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this was one, they got to it and we kind of went, oh, that's an interesting choice, because all the artwork, nothing in it to me screamed Epcot, with the exception of the bunk beds that they're stealing from the Galactic Star Cruiser and the animated ceiling. That's the main room. To me, it doesn't scream Epcot. It's beautiful, but yeah, it's inspired by Epcot. And that was all they really kind of said to that. We asked about any of the magic touches, like the Heart of Te-Fiti from the Wish. And again, more to come.
That means they don't know yet.
Yeah. Yes, but it will be the same layout, same views. So yes, if you have a lot of people and you really want to stay in the premier suite, book through MEI Travel, Mouse Fan Travel, and get ready for that. If you don't, and you just want to stay in the most beautiful bathroom the entire time, still book through them, but book one of the cat suites.
Take Heather's advice. Let's see. So those are the staterooms, and we've done a pretty good tour of the ship. Did they say anything about Disney Band Plus or Uncharted Adventures?
They did not say anything about either of those. In the concept art of the Plaza de Coco, if you look really closely, they do have Disney bands on, but there wasn't any addressing of that. Again, I'm guessing because Disney Band is being rolled out and this will be the first ship post all of this, everything will be Disney Band. And for those of you who don't know, Disney Band is Magic Band for the parts, but on the ship.
Disney Band, Jeremy, don't confuse.
No, that's why. It is a band that you wear that you can charge to your stateroom and you can use to open your doors and you can check into different things with.
So we have taken a nice tour of the ship, both what we know and what we don't. Hope you've enjoyed that. Before we close out, if we could just get Jeremiah to say anything else about the Disney Treasure that we didn't cover, and I'll ask the same thing about you, Heather, or your impressions so far.
One of the things was the shows on the ship. What we know that is coming back is Beauty and the Beast and Seize the Adventure, which Seize the Adventure is probably one of my favorite montage shows, even above Animazement. I know that's sacrilegious. That will be in
Throwback. Wow.
Yeah. And
our audience wasn't born when Animazement was running, Jeremiah.
But they did not say what the third show is. We don't think it's going to be Aladdin because that show already exists. I'm actually leaning for more, hopefully something that is Rapunzel or Moana or even Pocahontas, because those are characters that are called out. We also forgot about mentioning the changes to the two smaller lounges that will be Hey Hey's Lounge and Jade Cricket.
So these are like the small coffee cafes, like
yeah.
the Wishing Star and those things, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, I think we went more in depth than the video. So hopefully if you've seen the video, definitely come back and watch us again if you have questions. I have an article about 5 things or so that I learned, that I talked about some of the stuff that was more what they talked about, not on the video. And then Laughing Place has coverage of, I think, every single possible thing that we could talk about.
Certainly do. How about you, Heather? Anything we didn't cover that you wanted to mention, or just your impressions, your excitement, or lack thereof.
I mean, I loved The Wish, so I'm really excited about this. And we sort of talked about this, but I just kind of want to highlight this because this is the number one feedback that I have heard over the last year with The Wish is that the Treasure is doing 7-night cruises. And the number one complaint I have heard from all my clients is, I wish they would stop doing the shorter cruises with the newer ships. I want to go on vacation and I want to experience the ship and I don't want to be forced off in 3 days or 4 days. So I think Disney listened. I'm so excited that they're going to be doing the longer trips on this because now you get more time to go and play in all of these spaces and really discover it. And so I think that's what I'm most excited about is that you are going to be on this ship for a week and you have enough time to see and do everything.
And you'll find Heather and I in the Periscope Pub the entire time.
That in the fancy bathroom in the suite.
Yeah, like when you get Heather out the bathroom. Now, have they released late 2024 itineraries yet for the other ships? Do we know where all the ships are going when this launches?
We do. They're out. We're actually, they've kind of thrown a wrench into our normal schedule. Right around this time is when they would start to announce early 2025. And they haven't announced that yet. So 2024 is out. Now we know the Treasure is going to be coming out. So, I mean, you know, it's a year away. You have a year to kind of figure out what you want to be doing for Christmas.
So again, those booking dates open for the Pearl September 12th, 1 week from today, Platinum September 13th, Gold the 14th, Silver the 19th, General the 20th. Benji says you'll be able to book through May. He said 2024. I presume he means 2025 on there when those booking windows open. And Heather, if I could put you on the spot, can you tell us why anyone should book through Mouse Fan Travel instead of just going straight to DisneyCruiseLine.com?
Because we're going to save you time and probably money too. So you can still do all of the fun planning. Everybody likes to book their Palo and do all of it. You can still do that. But why you want to work with us is one, it doesn't cost you anything. And two, we're going to be the ones that sit on hold with Disney and get you booked on opening day so that you don't have to. We are going to constantly check so that if there are price drops, we are applying that for you. So you are always getting the best pricing. And then we're here to help. If you have questions, you don't have to Google. You can call us. We can help work out logistics before and after the cruise. We're just your travel concierge, and it's all for free.
All for free. Save money. Sometimes get perks that you wouldn't otherwise get. So highly recommend Mouse Fan Travel. Heather, as I said, is my own personal travel agent. She took care of me on my recent adventure by Disney to Wyoming, the single best vacation I've ever had in my life. It was so spectacular. So thank you so much, Heather, for joining us today. Thank you, Jeremiah, for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And we're going to bring Kyle back on to talk about the rest of the Disney news to our normal morning show, but it's going to be quite the letdown after doing an hour on the Treasure. Thank you, guys. Have great days.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for associating me with a letdown. I appreciate it.
So, hello. Let's get rid of that. And hi, everybody. Welcome to the LPTV Disney Morning Show, the show in which we tell you everything you need to know about the Disney Treasure and then get into our normal show, which is to talk about news. So my name is Jimmy Mosley, co-founder here at Laughing Place. Over there's Kyle. If you've not seen this show before, you just tuned in to watch the Treasure, I invite you to stay tuned. See what we do here every morning. It's kind of fun, kind of educational. If you're interested in Disney, I got to ask, Kyle, your background looks so different. What's happened?
I've moved some things around. So where I used to sit is now I got my green screen up and I got my lights all tucked over there instead of being throughout the apartment. And then now there's a couple advantages. First of all, I can swing this mic over. So I have the microphone and I'm on the same wall as my router. So now I'm plugged directly into Ethernet instead of Wi-Fi. So,
that's
really
huge. That's huge. You're a baller. I think that's how the kids say it. Okay, we're going to start this show, the normal show, the same way we start every normal show, and that is with a look at the Disney stock price. Okay, Kyle, how much did the Disney stock pop on the Disney Treasure News within 26 cents? What is the current Disney stock price?
Well, on Friday, it hit another 52-week low. So it rebounded a bit from that, I know. 81.70.
81.70. It is 81.82. You are good at this, Kyle. So you said on Friday hit another 52-week low.
Yeah,
Just
it
hit
briefly
one couple
crashed
weeks ago.
down to like $80.50 and then came back up. So I mean, it still closed down for the day, but it wasn't as dramatic as it was when it hit that low. I did see this morning that I think it was Wells Fargo analysts cut the target price of the stock by $30, but the target is still $110. So
What's the scuttlebutt on this? Is this all about the spectrum and end of ESPN and cable and all that?
I mean, I guess so. This kind of came out. I don't know. Everything feels delayed. It's very confusing. But yeah, we were talking last time I hit a 52-week low. It was in line with what Netflix fell. But then Comcast and Warner Brothers Discovery were not hit nearly as hard. This time it was the opposite. This time it was those coming down, and Netflix was either up or flat. So yeah, I think probably has something to do with even they pulled their, well, they didn't pull it. They failed to reach an agreement with Comcast. What's the other word? Anyway, with them, Spectrum. Yeah, is it I don't think there is Comcast is Universal. Sorry, it's Spectrum. They failed to reach an agreement with Spectrum, so ESPN and other Disney-owned networks are no longer on the service as of now. They've actually been pushing Disney Hulu plus live TV as an alternative to Spectrum, which is kind of funny. But even Spectrum's like, yeah, everything's broken. This isn't going to work anymore. And it's like, okay, well, if you're the company trying to make a deal, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for them.
Okay. Weather. Ethan, I thought, do we still have bad news on Ethan? Is he in the hospital?
He says not in the hospital. No, he's just taking a mental health day, taking a long weekend. He got wrapped up in Disney Treasure Fever as well. And maybe he also had a busy morning.
So the weather is nice.
It's going to rain, probably.
Real feel a lot higher than the actual temperature.
Yeah, some things, you don't need me for. You got a phone. If you're going to the parks, you can look.
Okay. Some overnight news came in from Shanghai. So do you want to talk about what's going on with Zootopia?
I do. So first of all, I should say that this is part of Disney has announced that they're going to be making announcements leading up to Destination D23 just to make sure that they have nothing to talk about on stage. And no, hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully there's just so much that he can't talk about this on stage. But they shared new looks at the Zootopia area coming to Shanghai Disney, including the name for the attraction and some other details. So the attraction itself is going to be called, I had this up, Zootopia Hot Pursuit. So it's going to be, you start at the police factory. That's where we see that whatever his name is from the Officer Clawhauser from Zootopia, the leopard, that animatronic. And then, yeah, you'll set off chasing bad guys through Zootopia. So that looks pretty fun. They also shared a look at some of the exterior. There's one thing where there's different people from Zootopia popping out of windows, and it reminds me a lot of the Muppets that they did at Liberty Square at Walt Disney World. That's another animatronic, I believe.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
But yeah, this is reminds me of that Muppets Great Moments in History sort of thing.
Great Moments in History. Cool. So I'm going to give you a link in the chat if you want to go read much more about Zootopia coming to Shanghai Disneyland. They have some fun foods too, which is always a fun thing. Little paw there with these cool.
Yep, all the things. There's also a donut, just like in the movie, the big donut, and yeah, the popsicle. So yeah, we got lots of news from that, and then we should be getting more. It looks like from Worlds of Frozen, and probably some other stuff leading up to Destination D23, when we'll have even more. So I'm sure we'll get this out before the treasure announcement got pushed, because it's a little hectic this morning.
I can only assume they are announcing all of this leading up to Destination D23 because the number of announcements they have set for D23 just won't leave enough room to cover all this stuff too.
No, right? It's going to go, hopefully Josh doesn't get up there and just, pontificate for a half hour again.
With the what lies beyond Zootopia?
What
So
if we did this?
Destination D23, which is just everyone. We're not even assuming. Disney has told us stuff is coming. Stuff is coming. News is coming. Saturday is the big theme park presentation. It actually starts on Friday. There's also stuff on Sunday covering all of Destination D23, but the actual big theme park stuff we're expecting on Saturday. Laughing Place will, of course, be there. We'll be covering it like crazy. Kyle's already set aside everything. He's having no fun this weekend. No fun.
Pretty much. Can I, speaking of fun, though, on Saturdays, can I point something out to you? My new setup means that I have a Disney Trivia Live magnet in the shot.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Disney Trivia Live every Tuesday. That's tonight and Saturday, 7:30 p.m. live on this YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, select notifications, and you will be notified every time we go live, which is a lot. We love to do live streams here. All right, so moving. Oh, when does all this Zootopia stuff actually open?
Later this year. I don't think they gave us a real date.
Later this year. That's more than what I have no idea. At Disneyland, HalloweenTime has returned on Friday. Mike Celestino was there covering that. So we did some live streams from there, got tons of pictures. All the fun stuff is there. So you can go check that out. I'll give you a link for that too. Want to go read more about HalloweenTime, see all the cool pictures. And then Oogie Boogie Bash has also kicked off. We weren't there, but lots of people were. So
it has not. It comes back.
It has not kicked off. I'm so very sorry. So then answer me this question, because now
cast preview.
Thank you. So tell them what I'm talking about.
A video emerged of as we talked about how they teased what seemed to be Yokai from Big Hero 6 and Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit coming to Oogie Boogie Bash, and a video emerged of Judge Doom. But yeah, it was from a cast preview. I don't know whether they're really supposed to share it or not. I don't know how that works, but tonight's the first official public one, so I'm sure you will be seeing him all over your timeline. But yeah, yes, pretty cool. That we guessed correctly, Doobie. It was very hard to decipher, but we put in the work. We did all the research, ran the analytics, because I guess that's the thing you do.
Yes, and we got Ethan involved because he's our AI genius. So, but yeah, Mr. Dip, Judge Doom uses the dip to, I don't want to spoil, but hide the children. It's a little more intense than I'm used to seeing at a Disney park. Haunted Mansion Holiday has returned. We have, of course, a full video of that,
including this year's special gingerbread house. They change that every year, and I forget there had the word ginger in it this time. I used to, when I lived there, I would try to say spoiler free on this so I could go experience it for myself, and of course that's doesn't make any sense these days. But yeah, there it is.
Vaughn Gingerbread House. The Vaughn Gingerbread House.
It smells so good when you go through that section.
Nice nod to Rolly Crump in the attic now, too. Wish I knew what Gio was talking about, but that should not stop you from knowing it's there. So thank you, Gio. And of course, Mickey and Friends have debuted their costumes for the year. We can check those out real quick. There they are. Aren't they adorable?
Yes.
What are Chippendale?
I think they might be like hitchhiking ghosts. That's the only thing I could think of, but probably
that
not.
Makes sense. No, that makes sense. I could not figure out with them. I'm trying to get a better picture of their entire costume because I was so lost on what they were. That makes sense. Thank you so much.
It's like, why are they wearing negligees?
San Francisco Square opened at Disneyland Resort last Thursday. We did talk about that, but Mike Celestino was able to stay late into the night and get some beautiful pictures of San Francisco Square at night. So we invite you to check those out on our website. I'll show some of them to you right here, though. It is a beautiful place. You got to see the bridge. Where's the bridge? Where's the bridge? Where's the bridge? There it is. You also did a video you can go check out. Nice job, Mike Celestino. Waking up early, staying late. We love how hard you work for us. What is the latest Okay, so that's what's going on at Disneyland. Disney World, we're seeing more and more Journey of Water footage coming out, pictures coming out. I don't think we've been able to get back there yet, but there's lots of stuff on the net. Go check that out. As I think Cass is doing previews now, and it gets closer to the interwebs. Why do people say never mind? So you can find lots of pictures of that out on the interwebs. What is going on with Lorcana? What is the latest? You are our official vice president of Lorcana.
Thank you. So it is now released at mass retail and on Shop Disney. However, it's been kind of hard to come by from so the Shop Disney one, Becca and I were up at 2 a.m. our time to publish the article with the links and everything. And you'll see reports that say that it sold out within minutes. That's not quite the case. So some of the stuff did, like the mats and stuff were gone and I never saw them again. But some of the actual cards, it would, you'd click it and it would say, you're not the only one with great taste, like that whole bit, and that it couldn't be added. But then there'd be other times where I think maybe as carts were being abandoned, that it would come back. And so even the next morning, I was able to, now granted, I didn't actually go all the way through to buying it, but I was able to I know the different steps of Shop Disney by this point. So I was to the point where I would have been able to purchase it even in the morning for a couple of different sets. So anyway, all that to say, it was kind of what you'd expect on Shop Disney front. But apparently a lot of other retailers, especially online, sold out very quickly. We went to our local Target on Saturday, and they did still have some cards. They still had some boosters, some starter decks. I bought a gift set because why not? And then another option that they had. The next day, I had to go back to Target for some reason and did not see any of that. So it seems that the few things that they did have when I was there on Saturday had all been gone by Sunday. But they've announced that they're reprinting Chapter 1. That's going to be coming, I think they said later this year. There are going to be more booster product will be available in October at local gaming stores and things like that. So yeah, very in demand right now. But unless, I don't know if you'd really be in a rush to buy. I wouldn't be, but there's no reason to pay on eBay because they're going to be reprinting this stuff. So it's not like it's not a finite number of cards that are going to be created here. So
I'm pretty sure it is finite. It's not infinite. There will be a limit.
Right, but it's okay. So it's not a stated number. There's not like only 1,000 of certain card or something like that. So yeah, I guess they once again underestimated demand, but they're trying to ramp it back up, and they do say that they want people to pay as close to MSRP as possible. I guess there was even reports that while they had the exclusive, and because of supply and demand, some local gaming stores were. When I went to my local gaming store, I paid $2 more than it was for boosters. Like it was $8 versus $6. I think that's fine, but people are talking about paying like exorbitant prices at retail. So they're trying to fix those things.
Gio, thank you very much. He has told me what he's talking about with the Rolly Crump tribute. This picture is from a video by Provost Park Past, which is a great, fun YouTube channel to subscribe to. Provost Park Past, the biggest Disneyland secret ever revealed. And this is Candleman from Rolly Crump's Museum of the World. Weird, kind of the precursor to the Haunted Mansion when they were still working out exactly what it was going to be. And that is a wonderful little Easter egg. So thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, Gio. Jeremiah would never. I'm not going to bug you. I'm not going to pick on you, Jeremiah. All right. Let's see. We have a book review. Reviews are what I always look for now when I'm going through this. So this is of the Haunted Mansion Storm and Shade, which I'm guessing this is a YA title guy.
Yes.
So this book review is by Jess on our site, Jess Ward. The headline for this review is Book Review, Haunted Mansion Storm and Shade takes readers on a spooky new adventure. And the final paragraph is, the character relationships in Storm and Shade are complex and interesting. Audrey's relationship with her boyfriend and how he treats her is not black and white, but a realistic shade of gray that becomes clearer as the story progresses. The same is true for Audrey's relationship with Sterling, who she meets in the mansion. Audrey and Sterling's shared interest in photography lays a solid foundation for their friendship and to unraveling the mystery at hand. The character interactions are meaningful and realistic. The setting, story, themes, and characters make this book a more than worthwhile read, especially with the spooky season around the corner and Halloween on the horizon. Available now, Haunted Mansion, Storm and Shade.
Nice.
She did not say this book, even though I'm not the intended audience for this book. We applaud her for that, if nothing else. And finally, there was a new short teaser for season 2 of Loki. I'm not going to show it here now, but there is. Speaking of, what's happened with Marvel release dates?
So I guess they've pushed some back. I don't know if they're ever quite announced, but it looks like they're expanding it. Instead of having so many per year, they're really going to expand it out. They also changed the name of Agatha again, and there's apparently reason for that they keep changing it. Like, it's probably, I mean, there's one thing that people are saying, oh, well, they've kept the name Agatha all along, but the subtitle changes. It's all probably part of something. But so what if season 2, I think it said, was still supposed to come this year, but as far as like forget what it said. I think it said Echo is still coming. I forget. I'm sorry. It was over the weekend. But anyway, they're going to be, the moral of the story is they're going to be spreading stuff out, but let me look at exactly what was happening with that. And then in the meantime, did you see the other Marvel review that I shared?
Oh,
you just
posted
this morning.
Okay, let me grab that. While you get that, I will do another review for y'all. So let's share this tab. Sorry, we're both losing. This is a review for I Am Groot Season 2, review by Ben Breitbart. Wow, making time to do stuff like this while he's on the ship. I Am Groot.
Yes, he did it while on the ship. No way in any possibility he prepped it beforehand and made me publish it this morning.
Streaming review. I Am Groot Season 2 is pure joy. Final paragraph. I Am Groot is pure joy. If you're either a Marvel fan or an animation fan, don't miss out by focusing on the larger scope projects. The animated artistry of these shorts should be savored and enjoyed. The 5 new episodes of I Am Groot will debut on Disney Plus tomorrow, September 6th. I Am Groot, pure joy.
Go to the release dates. What if season 2 was expected in 2023? Now will be around Christmas Day. 2023 was supposed to be earlier this year. Obviously, that didn't happen. Echo was supposed to be November 27th. Now it'll be in January, and apparently it will still release all the episodes on the same day as they announced for the November date. X-Men 97, which is the animated series, was supposed to be this fall, will now be early 2024. And now the newly named Agatha Darkhold Diaries, at least for now, they'll probably change it again, early fall 2024. It was supposed to be this winter. So we also don't have, they took Ironheart, Daredevil, Born Again, and Wonder Man off of the schedule. Ironheart's already finished filming. The other 2 were mid-production when strikes happened. So those will probably be, I mean, at this point, it could be 2025 or sometime in 2024. But yeah, really pacing it out.
Stretching it out with no end in sight for this strike. Any strike news that you're aware of?
No.
Okay. Lego. Kyle's a big Lego fan.
Yeah, so they did a contest where people submitted ideas based on a certain Disney theme, and this is the one that was the fan vote. So it's not official yet, but pretty cool. Got a
celebrate to celebrate Disney's 100 years of fairy tales. Created this model that shows Mickey Mouse revealing the magic of Disney stories. At the center sits Sorcerer Mickey from Fantasia. The figure is all made of Lego bricks, carefully designed to capture Mickey's cheerful smile. Many icons and characters from Disney Classic emerge from the cloud of magic dust. Beauty and the Beast in there, Mermaid, Lion King, Cinderella, Frozen, and more. So, kind of cool. Agatha Darkhold Diaries. Is that the Princess Diaries? That would be a great crossover. I've got a ton of good pocket picks, and I will not do today because we've been on the air for a long time. So I'm going to save those for tomorrow. But you can't postpone this day in Disney history because then it's not this day anymore. Okay, so I'm just going to give you the first one, and then I'll tell you why. On this day in 1927, the very first Oswald the Lucky Rabbit debuted, called Trolley Troubles. Oswald is back in the fold. Yay. Created by Walt Disney and Ub Iwerks, 1927. Okay, Kyle, for some reason on this day, at first I was like, why? And then I realized, oh, because it's the end of summer. So it's not really a coincidence. On this day, we've got 4 attraction closers coming up next. Okay?
Okay.
1966, after only 5 years, they closed at Disneyland.
1966.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
Okay, nice guess. The Flying Saucer. Usually this is your go-to guess. So
It is my go-to guess, so that would be funny.
On this day in 1994, an attraction closed temporarily at Walt Disney World, only to never reopen, and it became a permanent closure 2 years later. I'll give you a hint on this one. We've been talking about it all morning.
We've been talking about it all morning, and I don't even know it.
It might make an appearance on the Disney Treasure.
Okay, yeah. So the 20,000 Leagues.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Temporarily closed and just never came back. Kind of like rocket rides. On this day in 2000, an attraction closed at Disneyland. Temporarily and never reopened.
Rocket Rods?
Rocket Rides. Very good. No, that's it. Yes.
Okay.
It is Rocket Rides. Good job, Gio. Kind of like 20,000 Leagues. And
I was like,
finally,
maybe he wouldn't just say the answer to the thing that's coming up next.
he would if he didn't remember it was coming up next. And finally, on this day in 2018, something closed at the Disneyland Resort to make way for Avengers Campus.
That would be a Bugs Land.
Bugs Land and all its attraction little friends this day in 2018. Fun fact, when I say on this day, I don't know if this is the first day it was closed or the last day it was open. I'm guessing it was the last day it was open, but don't know for sure.
I think Tough to Be a Bug retroactively closed, so there was that too.
All right.
I have one for you. I have a this day in Disney adjacent history.
All right.
Let me check the date. But a singer, very famous singer, was born. He is the focus of a film in the Disney canon, whether by acquisition or otherwise. And his body of work can be found on Hollywood Records.
Wow. What's sad is I'm pretty sure I saw this on my source and just didn't include it, and yet now I can't remember. Tony Bennett.
On this day in 1946. No, it's not Tony Bennett.
Not that old. Oh, man, now I know I saw it, and I just can't remember. Who is it?
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie,
The
saying
great
the
band
film.
Queen, you can hear they've long been rumored to be replacing Aerosmith on the Rock and Roller Coaster. Has not happened. Bohemian Rhapsody was released. I think it was still Fox then, and then we bought them. So now it's 20th Century.
That's annoying because you said he's in the Disney Pantheon now, what the movie is, and there haven't been that many biopics. I should have gotten that one.
It's okay.
Yeah. It's harder on the other side now, I know. All right, I'm going to take a quick look at Disney stock again to see if we have another low. It is at $81.95 on the way up. If you had invested when we talked about this before and sold it now, you'd have made some money.
Moving on up to the east side.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow morning to do this again.
Normal time,
a little
hopefully.
Shorter. Yeah, normal time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Don't forget, is it 3-show Tuesday, Kyle?
Probably. You tell
Probably
me.
3-show Tuesday with Disney Trivia Live at 7:30 p.m. Pacific tonight.
Let me see if there's anything else that I should know about, because
Yeah, Barely Necessities at 4 p.m. Pacific.
It's actually 4-show. We also have. Oh wait, never mind. That got pushed to tomorrow. He already told me that. Never mind. Tomorrow we'll have Who's the Boss?
4 p.m. Pacific. We will have.
I think. Now I'm confused again, but yes,
That's okay.
we'll have a Who's the Boss at some point.
Barely Necessities, the Disney merchandise show at 4 p.m. All the Disney merchandise news, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. We have Disney Trivia. That is all for now. Thanks for joining us. Go Disney Treasure.